Hey, what's up, everyone? I just had a comment really quick on this whole gun rights issue thing that's come up in the media a lot just because of the Sandy Hook tragedy, which of course is absolutely horrible, and I feel terrible for all those parents and families of the children. Obviously, big tragedy. That being said, I need to just cut to the chase and cut out all these logical fallacies that are being, leveraged against the Second Amendment and the right to defend oneself. First, people are often saying, you don't need, to have, 33 rounds of, ammo as opposed to, 10. That's really not an issue. The issue is not whether or not you need that or you need it for some hunting purpose or this or that. The Second Amendment, and if you want to, take it beyond that, the right to be able to defend yourself is a fundamental right. It's not something that's subject to the whims of someone's need. If you took that same argument and applied it to anything else in life, everybody's needs are subjective. You don't need that car. You can go with an older, version. You don't need a big house. You can have a small apartment and be fine. It's not about need. It's about the ability to defend yourself. And as long as you're not hurting somebody, there's nothing wrong with that. It's already illegal to murder. It's already illegal to take a weapon and point it at someone's face and threaten them, with violence. So the key here is actually taking all these, attacks being leveraged against gun ownership and gun rights, and to say, okay, am I going to accept that there are things in life which are fundamental to liberty and freedom? Speech, your religious choice, your ability to defend yourself, as a moral argument, or are you going to just nitpick and keep chiseling away at all these rights simply because you think it's too dangerous for somebody? And then remember, there's always somebody else out there who thinks that what you're doing might be too dangerous. If you look statistically, Freakonomics is a good example of this. Swimming pools are way, way, way more dangerous for children because there's way more children who die in swimming pools from drowning. I mean, if you look at just purely the fact of, that's unsafe, children could die. If only just one child's life is saved, we should reduce that harm. You have to really take a look at just how absurd it is. It is about the right to defend oneself. And it doesn't matter the weapon. It doesn't matter because as long as you are not hurting another person, there's no reason for it to be illegal. In other words, there's no reason to enact violence against another person. That's at the threat of force, because the law says that if somebody doesn't obey that law, men armed with guns, ironically, police, come and put that person forcibly into a cage known as jail. And if that person resists, that person may face possibly serious injury or even death. So that's the real irony here, is that you're like, I don't want more, violence because of guns. Meanwhile, if somebody who is completely peaceful, just like me, you might have a gun in your house, never hurt anybody, nothing, absolutely no criminal history whatsoever. If the police then come and try to take away those guns, they enact violence against the person who has that, who's completely peaceful and just wants to defend themselves. So that's really what this core issue is. I mean, you can get to the economics of it. You can look at the history of, gun violence. You can study up on, for example, how different bans and cities on guns have led to more, gun violence victimization, because everybody there is going to be a victim who's a law-abiding citizen, whereas places where people can easily carry guns, there is less of a temptation for criminals to enact aggression there because they're afraid they're going to get, injured or worse, dead. So you can take a look at all those things all day long, but really it's about a fundamental concept, and that's who owns you and who owns your right to live peacefully, to be able to defend yourself, to have liberty, without the threat of other people, in this case the government through police and possibly the military, threatening your life simply because you're living peacefully. Having these things don't magically go and explode and kill people. It's just the fact of life. It doesn't just magically get up on its own. Sick people exist, and sick people, especially in governments, exist who have guns and enact violence against people all across the world. So that's just my 2 cents on the issue, and I'll talk to you later.